Hi everyone. So today I'm going to do a video about sponsoring new consultants and how important it is to build a team to be really successful in your Scentsy business or any direct selling business. So I'm going to start off first of all just by telling you a little bit about myself. Um, right now I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have two beautiful little girls. My oldest is 3.5 and my youngest is 1. I started with Scentsy in April of 2011, so just over 2 years ago. I had no intention at all of building a team when I got started. I had just gone back to work after having my first daughter, and I was just looking for something that I could do part-time just to bring in a little bit of extra cash to sort of offset, extra costs of daycare and things like that. Um, a friend actually on Facebook who lives in Calgary, I'm in Winnipeg, had been doing a Scentsy book party and she posted it online. So I had never heard of the product before. I checked out the website. I was really excited about it. I thought it was an awesome product. I really thought my mother would love it. So I ordered a warmer and some wax for my mother for Mother's Day that year. The box, when it came, smelled so amazing. I couldn't help myself. I opened it up, plugged it in. My mother never got it for Mother's Day. I kept it. I was absolutely hooked. So, in talking to some of my friends about it, most people had never heard of it before, and everybody was really excited about it. So, I contacted the consultant in Calgary and kind of booked my own book party. So, she shipped me some testers. The response that I got from that first party blew me away. I had more response and more sales from that than I've ever had doing direct sales in different businesses. I used to sell jewelry in direct sales, and I've never had a party go as well as this one did. Everybody was really excited about it. So I called the consultant back a week later and told her that I was signing up. So by my first Christmas, not even a year, probably about seven or 8 months into my business, I was already promoted to superstar consultant, and I had 7 girls on my team at that time. Scentsy more than paid for Christmas for my family that year. By February of 2012, I had already earned my very first incentive trip with Scentsy. So Scentsy does an incentive trip every year. Um, that year in 2012, it was a trip to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic, and I earned that for myself. I was really, really excited about it. I really didn't think I had any chance at all to even get close to earning it because I was so new. So at that point, I was really amazed at how quickly Scentsy was growing for me as a business. To be totally honest, my first couple of recruits just kind of happened. I didn't try to recruit them. I wasn't talking to people about it. I wasn't even thinking about building a team. I was really focused on just selling a lot and booking a ton of parties. So my first recruit was a coworker at the office. She saw me taking orders at work and booking parties, and then she asked me about joining. So that was easy. My second recruit, again, really easy. She was a friend on Facebook who ordered some stuff from me and loved it and asked about joining, just to kind of get the commission as like an extra discount for herself and her own orders. So I didn't talk about joining at parties. I didn't ask anybody if they were interested. I wasn't sure I could do it, and I really didn't want to be pushy, so I never really tried. It wasn't until I earned that first incentive trip that it kind of clicked in my head. This is more than just a part-time income. um, I really got to thinking about the possibility of staying at home and spending time with my kids. And I've completely changed my perspective on recruiting and building a team since then. So this past April was my 2-year anniversary with Scentsy. My team is getting bigger and bigger every month. I have about 50 people on my team right now. I was promoted to director this past October. And this past February, I was supposed to go back to work after my second daughter was born, after my second mat leave, and I was able to call my boss and tell her I wasn't coming back. So I'm able to stay at home with my kids and work my Scentsy business full time, and I'm making more money now than I was working and paying for daycare for my kids. So changing the way that I think about recruiting has changed my business and my life in so many ways. I really want to share a few of the things that I've learned to do in order to be successful at it. So I'm going to focus on who you can recruit and then we'll talk about how to ask them. So there's 3 groups of people that you can recruit to join your team. You can recruit your customers and your party guests. You can recruit your party hosts, and then you can recruit everybody else. So we'll talk about your customers and your party guests first. Excuse me. We all have customers who are just as obsessed with Scentsy as we are. Your best customers are going to make your best consultants. If you think about it, they already know the product. They've obviously already love the product. They've probably already told everybody they know how awesome it is. You want to keep an eye out for the ones who order on a regular basis, or who place really big orders, or who host parties a lot. So now you know you want to recruit them, but what do you say? My biggest problem recruiting at first was that I didn't want to be pushy, but you really don't have to be. The biggest thing for me was to stop thinking about it as recruiting. Forget about the word recruiting altogether. Just think of it as sharing the wealth. Hey, have you thought about doing this for yourself? You obviously love the product just as much as I do, and you could be making all the commission on this party. What's the worst thing they could say? No thanks. You're not going to lose a customer for asking, and you could be gaining so much more if they say yes and join your team. So then there's your guests at a home party. This is really, really important. Home parties are the most important part of our business. It's the only thing that we can do as a consultant that gets us in a room with 10 or more women who are there specifically to learn more about Scentsy. It's all about how you think about it. You've got to hype yourself up before you go to a party. Practice what you're going to say in the car on the way there. But the biggest thing is to expect to get a recruit at every party you do. If you go in thinking it's going to happen, you're going to try that much harder to make it happen. So you can't just be the consultant who just sits in the corner and waits to take orders at a party. You've got to be working the room, talking to people, and making a personal connection with every single guest there by the end of the night. You really only have about 10 minutes once the party starts while you have everybody's attention, so you really don't want to waste that time. They came there to experience Scentsy. All you have to do is put the product out in front of them, and they're going to love it. It's easy. It sells itself. Once they see it, they love it. So everything that they need to know about the products is going to come up while you're chit-chatting and answering questions later on. During your presentation, while you have their full attention, focus on sharing your story and talking about the opportunity. I used to spend my entire 10 minutes walking through the whole catalog. Like, literally, I would go through the catalog and be like, so these are our plug-in warmers, and these are our Scentsy buddies. It was ridiculous. So I threw in a little bit at the end about hosting, but it definitely wasn't the best use of that time at all, because while the party's going on, people are going to be asking questions about the catalog anyway, and having them ask you those questions gets you talking to them more and making more connections with them, rather than just saying everything you need to say about the product all in one big spiel to everybody and then just sitting back and waiting for orders. That's not the way you want to do it. So now I take that whole 10 minutes to tell everybody about my story and how I got started and why I love what I do. Your Scentsy story is your most powerful recruiting tool. You need to make sure that you have it written down, and you need to update it every few months. It should be on your Scentsy website. I've had quite a few people actually come to me and either order from me or join my team because they found me online and they liked my story. They felt the most comfortable with me. So I've already told you my Scentsy story at the beginning of the video. You really don't have to worry if your story isn't very impressive. You just want to share it. People want to hear about how you got started and why you love what you do, and they want to feel like they know you. So if you're still kind of new, you can always use your sponsor's story or another consultant's story as an example, or just tell them about how successful your launch party was or how many party bookings you got as soon as people knew that you were a consultant. So now let's talk about your party hosts. Your party host is the one who's planning the party, inviting the guests, talking up the product. They're doing all the work. When you're putting together your host package, you want to make sure you give them all the info about joining too. So with every host package, I always give a join package as well. In my join package, I'll put a catalog, a join brochure, The Discover Scentsy DVD is an awesome tool. They're really not that expensive in the Scentsy family store, so that's a good thing to get. And then I put together a little frequently asked questions sheet about joining. And then I have my Scentsy story printed out for them and my business card. And then I always like to include something that smells nice, so a scent circle or a sample of the scent of the month, something like that. So when you drop off your host package for your host, make sure that you mention that if they are interested in joining, you'd be willing to give them that party to get them started. Yeah, I said give them the party. I know some people think I'm crazy for saying that, but it's true. I know you put all that work into it, you know, booking the party, finding a sitter for your kids, getting all of your testers ready, you know, actually going out and doing the party, and you're going to lose all those sales. But if that host joins your team, they're going to be worth so much more to you down the road than just the commission on that one party order. Party flipping is one of the best ways to get new recruits and to build your team. Sometimes you've got to give more now to get more later. So giving your host the party it's an awesome idea for a lot of reasons. Basically, you just stick around after the party and help them log into the workstation and show them how to enter their first order. The nice thing about this is that your new consultants get to see exactly what you do at a party because you're coming and doing the party for them. They still get all the host rewards, so they're still going to get all their free stuff. And then you're giving them an awesome head start to their business. You're there in person to help them through their very first party, their very first order. You can show them around the workstation and how it works. So if you offer it and they say they're not interested when you drop off their host package, don't even worry about it. Once you're actually in their home and they're actually seeing everything firsthand, they might change their mind. A big thing about doing a home party that you want to remember is that you want to keep it simple. Don't go in lugging, 10 warmers to plug in and show off. You don't want to set up a huge table. Keep it simple. I bring one of the purple reusable bags. It's a big bag. And then I just bring one of each size of warmer, a couple bars of wax, and then a sample of the layers stuff and all my testers. And obviously catalogs and things like that. So you want to make sure you keep it simple to show them how easy it is to do what you do. At the end of the party, when you're talking to your host about how much free stuff she's earned and what she wants to do with her host rewards, make sure you mention how much commission you're going to be making off of that order, and then you can kind of bring it up again. So if you joined, you'd be making this. A lot of the time, the commission on about a $600 party, the commission on it is going to pay them back for the cost of the starter kit, the $119. So it's definitely worth doing at that point. So party flipping is the one thing that I've had the most success with in my business. So we've talked about your customers and your party guests, and we've talked about your hosts. Now let's talk about everybody else. One of the notes in Orville's keynote speech from last year's Scentsy Family Reunion, he talked about Cord 2, so there's 4 cords to a business. One of the biggest notes in Cord 2 that he talked about was sharing your brand everywhere. So put a decal on your car, wear a Scentsy hat, carry a Scentsy bag with you, leave catalogs or business cards everywhere you go. And a really cool idea that I want to add that I just heard from another consultant about that is she actually puts a little label on the front of her catalog. She's got her label with her info, and then she puts another label that says something like, contact me and tell me where you found this catalog for 10% off your first order, or a free bar of wax with a $20 purchase, or however you want to do it. So when you're leaving catalogs in the bathroom, in the movie theater, or wherever it is you leave them, it's kind of a neat thing and might entice someone to call you. So the most important thing is that you talk about Scentsy to everybody. Trade shows and summer fairs are really great places for recruiting. If you go into a fair and all you're focused on is selling your stock, you're probably going to feel like you've wasted your time. Direct sales is a networking business. That's a really important thing to remember, is that the success of your business is based on how well you can network. So you need to be constantly meeting new people and talking to people about what it is you do. You're not going to go very far if you don't expand yourself outside of your circle of friends and family that you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable, you're not making money. These types of shows are going to give you the perfect opportunity to meet people that you never would have met before and share Scentsy with them. You can explain the product if they've never heard of it. You can talk about the benefits of hosting a party, and then make sure you tell them your story and talk about why you do what you do and why you love it so much. So you also want to remember, though, don't just talk their ears off. You want to listen to what people are going to tell you, because anyone who might be even a little bit interested in the business opportunity is going to give you clues. You can talk to the cashier at the grocery store, the teller at the bank, your hairdresser, everybody you meet on a daily basis. You don't have to be cheesy about it. You don't have to be like, hey, I sell Scentsy, want to host a party? And hand them a catalog. You can just be friendly and start a conversation. Mention you're looking forward to a busy weekend with a lot of parties, or you're getting ready for a big open house. Just open your mouth and get people talking. One of the big things that I wasn't very good at when I started was following up on leads. You have to be sure that you get contact info from everybody that you talk to about Scentsy, and then follow up with them later. So a phone number, an email address, anything you can get. Email address is normally easy to get because you can say, hey, jot down your email address for me and I'll send you my monthly newsletter. Really easy that way, and then you can follow up with them later on. One of the best tips that I've been given about growing your team is to keep a Scentsy hit list. So I started mine on my iPhone, but you can keep a notebook in your purse or your car, whatever works better for you. So every time I talk to somebody about Scentsy or give somebody a catalog, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write down their name and whatever contact info I have, their phone number, their email address. I'm going to write down the day that I talked to them, and then something to help me remember who they are. So, the blonde teacher from Lisa's party, for example. And then I also jot down a little bit about what we talked about, whether we talked about joining or hosting a party or placing an order. So at the beginning of every month, or whenever you have time to set aside for it, you can go back through that list and follow up with the people that you talked to a month ago. So this is also an awesome tool to have when promotions come up, like Bring Back My Bar is on right now. Catalog is going to be 10% off next month for transition month. There's going to be the double starter kit in August. So when things like that come up, you've got this list of people that you've already talked to that you can contact and let them know what's new and what's going on. So you never want to assume that somebody isn't interested. You never know where a recruit's going to come from. Just talk about your business, share your story, and offer the opportunity. All it took for me to turn this super fun part-time job into something awesome and rewarding was to decide what I really wanted out of it and find my why and focus on that. So for me, my why is staying home with my kids. For some people, maybe it's paying off your car loan or getting rid of some debt. For others, maybe it's finally getting to take your kids to Disneyland or going on a cruise with your husband. Whatever your reason is, find it, write it down, and think about it every time you find yourself thinking that you can't do something. Your new consultants are out there everywhere you go. I really hope I've given you some tips that you can use in your business going forward. So thanks for watching, and good luck building your team.